We are in Nava Vidha BVhakti. This is the second lecture, satsang, and we were seeing how Lord Ram is praising Shibori, the uneducated tribal woman who has chanted the Lord's name for 70 years or so, and why she has done that? Because her guru has told her that, and he told her that you keep chanting, the Lord will come and present himself in front of you. And in that, with that faith in the words of her teacher, of her guru, she every day throughout her life chanted the name of the Lord, and in the anticipation that the Lord may come that very day, every day of her life, she has been collecting the fruits from the forest and keeping them ready for the Lord to come and so that she can welcome him with those fruits. And when he comes, she's more than the Lord. She is saying, "Oh, my Guru's words came true." And as a result of that, she is so happy, and she says that I am an uneducated, uncouth, without having done any practice or sadhana, and she's putting herself down. The Lord, seeing the greatness in her, he say, wanting to praise her, wanting to bring out the best in her, because she is the best of the devotees, he starts telling her, "Oh my dear, beautiful Shibori, listen to these 9 ways of devotion, and these 9 ways of devotion I'm going to enumerate, and these 9 ways of devotion and love are plentifully available in you." He will tell in the end. He doesn't tell straight away. Because if he told her that you are great, she will cringe even further, she will go into her shell, and he doesn't want that of his devotees. And therefore, he began, "Navada bhakti kahu to hi pasi savadhana sunu dharu manamahi." Oh, so he does say that you have the 9 ways of devotion, and listen to them attentively, listen to them alertly, that let your mind not sway here and there, and listen to what I have to say. And then he continues telling, "Prathama bhagati santana kara sanga dusarirati mama katha prasanga." The first form of devotion and love is satsang. Prathama bhagati. Bhagati means bhakti, devotion, love. Prathama is first. Santana kara sanga. Santana kara sanga means be in the company of great masters, be in the company of realized masters, be in the company of satsang, because if you are in the company of great masters, you will be in the company of truth, because they are established in truth. And today also the verse, towards the end it came, "Satsangatve nissangatvam nirsangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nishchalatatvam nishchalatatve jivan mukti bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate." This is, if you get attached to satsang, you will get detached to the world. If you get detached from the world, you will get detached to the sorry, if you get attached to the satsang, you will get detached to the world. As a result of that detachment, the delusion that the world creates in your mind due to those attachments, that I cannot live without her, I cannot live without my bed, I cannot sleep anywhere else, I only like this, I don't like that. We have got all our habits and attachments, all that goes away, and as a result of this detachment, the delusion in the mind that I am at the mercy of the world, I am a product of the world, I was born and I am going to die one day. All these delusory concepts that have taken root in our mind, they start getting dissolved of their own accord. You don't have to try. You can study. I also studied Bhagavad Gita before, didn't understand, till I did not listen to it from my teacher. And I did not decide who my teacher was going to be. He appeared in my life. It happened. But what is required is you must be a seeker within. If you are seeking the Lord, you are wanting satsang, you want to be happy all the time, not because of something or someone, but because it is your nature, then the right experiences, the right teachers, the right people will start coming in your life to remind you that you are perfect essentially. You see? Trust this process. We have a process at this moment where if we want something, we go and get it. But this is not something to go and get. This is something to realize. In this spiritual journey, things happen. See? So here it is told that nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam. When delusions, likes and dislikes are removed from your mind, then the mind becomes purified. It becomes free of thought waves. It becomes a clear mirror. And in that nischala tattvam, nischala means that which is not agitated. It becomes calm. And nischala tattve jivan muktihi. So only in a clear mind, which is free of thoughts, the reality, the spirit, the self can reflect exactly as it is. And therefore, satsang is required. And therefore, here it is told that we must continue to seek out great masters. We must, otherwise, what other choice? See, now you have come here for satsang. Haven't you given up? Some of you may have given up the favorite show. You must have given up meeting your grandchildren or your family friends or some social gathering which you normally go to. You may have given up the footy match which is coming on the TV. Huh? So you must have given up something. Why you have given up? Because of your love for satsang. You see? So initially we tear ourselves away from what we like and dislike to come to satsang, but once we start enjoying the satsang, then it becomes very easy to drop everything and come to satsang. And this is the power of satsang. And the santana karasanga means the great masters. Till we do not come across great realized masters, till then we must study the scriptures, try to understand them, try to purify ourselves, do yoga, pranayam, japa, etc., so that whenever in your life, when you are ready, there are enough teachers available in this creation. There are many realized masters in this creation. I'm not saying many means out of 8 billion there will be very handful, but they are enough. But it is not based upon a realized master to come and grace. It is based upon the student or the seeker or the devotee to prepare himself. Is his intensity strong enough to bring the teacher into his, to demand the presence of a teacher or a great master in his or her life? See, knowledge is available everywhere, but are you ready to grasp it? Are you the fit instrument? See? So one person went and asked a guru. Guru, and the guru was a fitness instructor. And student went, disciple went, a seeker. I am in love with a girl. What machine should I use so that she gets attracted to me? He says, none of the machines in this gym will help you. Then which will help? You go to the ATM machine. She will get attracted to you. You work on that ATM machine. So, to drop our attachments, to drop our preformed notions, we come to the satsang. In satsang we are presented in a satsang how you can correct your life. And it's up to the seeker to take what is given and apply it in his or her life. And usually application is directly proportional to the conviction that has been told to you. If you are convinced about something in life, it automatically, spontaneously starts expressing out of you, isn't it? You don't have to try to practice it. You don't have to try and practice being a woman or a man. You are convinced you are a man or a woman. See? Similarly, when any conviction goes deep into your psyche and you become totally one with that conviction, deeply convinced of that thought, then it automatically starts expressing out of your life. You don't have to practice. Till you are practicing, you are not convinced of it. So, who practices truth? The one who enjoys lying. So, he practiced truth. But the one who is convinced that truth is the way to go, I must speak truth, then he is never afraid of that, oh, by mistake I should not lie. It will not come out of him because he is so established in speaking the truth, isn't it? Those people who talk about corruption, they only talk about because they are afraid of it, because they have also practiced it. But if you are absolutely established in non-corruption, then you will not talk about corruption, because you will not be afraid of it, because you know out of you never that type of act will take place. So we must prepare ourselves. Knowledge is plentifully available. You become the right instrument, that when that great master, when that great realized master, and we met some, there are many others, when they come across, when they come in front of you, when you come in their presence, it becomes a meaningful interaction. A master comes in front of you and says, come on Swami, let's go for a coffee. Then what knowledge you got? How a coffee is good or bad? He can give you knowledge of that also. But what is the type of questions, what is the type of interaction we should have with masters? If suppose our Ammachi comes, will you go and tell her, Amma, I want to take you for a coffee? Will you? Or our, Dalai Lama comes. He says, let's go for a coffee. Are you his pal or what? Huh? You got an opportunity, a great master has come into your presence. Have the right attitude, ask a pertinent question by which you can be transported back to yourself. Because their mere presence is enough to bring that about. And if you are able to ask questions, interact with them, how lucky you are. See, the divine has brought that great person into your life. Don't waste it by judging that person. I think he's like this, oh, that is like that. Why waste your energy into all those unwanted fields of discussions? Their presence is there for your benefit. Take advantage of it. It's an opportunity. It's a doorway. Till then, till such a master doesn't come in your life, keep preparing, keep preparing, keep preparing, keep preparing. That's all we can do. When we are ready from within, the teacher appears in our life. This happened in my life. I kept preparing for 14 years. Few teachers came in my life in between. Buddhist teachers came, they initiated me. Taoist teachers came, they initiated me. I didn't ask them to initiate me. They initiated. 4 or 5 teachers came, they initiated. But then they went away also. I didn't know what to do, what not to do. I didn't understand Chinese or Japanese. But I did not interact with them. They don't know anything, they just want disciples. Not that type of feeling. I felt blessed. They initiated, I said, maybe this is what the Lord wants. This is what I require at this moment, and I got initiated. And that was the right thing that happened at that time. Till after 14 years of practices, I came across my teacher, who was able to clarify everything, who was able to, when he taught me the Gita and the various Upanishad, I could see that, hey, that's what I am. I don't have to find anything, I don't have to search anything, I don't have to be something that I am not already. And the whole scriptures are about reminding you of who you essentially are. And that only masters can do. Books cannot do that to you. You cannot ask a question to a book. Knowledge doesn't transfer from words in my mouth to the words that are falling on your eardrums. Knowledge doesn't transfer like that. Then you should get knowledge from listening to a tape recorder also, but it doesn't happen. Therefore it is called Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. You have to listen, reflect and contemplate. First step is listening. And what is listening? Active listening is that you put your attention on that principle because of which listening is possible. The teacher is always keeping his attention on that principle because of which the speech is possible. Then he is a teacher, not coming from the head. If you come from the head, you can come to know that this fellow got the papers, got the books, and he'll be thinking what I have to say, what I have to say. He'll be fumbling with the thoughts. See? So knowledge transfers not from the mouth to the ear. The knowledge transfers from consciousness to consciousness. Because I am conscious, the words are possible. Because you are consciousness, listening is possible. On the consciousness, the words from my mouth travel to the ear, where the hearing is possible because of consciousness. When consciousness meets consciousness, it clicks. But if the teacher is speaking consciously, his attention is on, but the other fellow is in the mind and he is not aware, he is not in the right disposition, then understanding may take place. But it will be temporary, it will not click. Listening, Ramchandra ji, Krishna Bhagwan, so many masters, I have come across boys in ashram and other places. Once they hear, enough. They don't need to be repeated, nothing needs to be repeated to them once again and again. I was not like that. I can't remember anything. So if you can get any chance, any opportunity, we must try to seek out the company of great masters, realized masters. And when we seek out their company, automatically what they are all about starts rubbing on us. As I said yesterday, a certain vibration, if the light is there, darkness cannot remain. A realized master you are getting a chance to be in their presence, then all the cobwebs of your mind will vanish in toto, to some extent. And more exposure to such masters, automatically you get, the mind gets purified and you come to be established in the self. Dusari rati mama katha prasanga. Now we come to the second way of devotion and love, and that is rati mama katha prasanga. Dusri means second, rati means reveling, mama is mine, katha means stories, prasanga is anecdotes or whatever the fables are there, the stories are there. So the Lord is saying that the second form of devotion is, or devotion or love is, to listen to my stories. What happens when you listen to the stories of the Lord? Then gossiping goes away. Then your gossip becomes the divine gossip. Now last, from morning, from breakfast till now, we haven't had a gossip. On the dining table, we were talking about something about yesterday. Then I was thinking about, contemplating on how I should talk about this. Mind thinks this way, what I have to speak, what I don't have to speak. But after some time, I give up. My mind gives up. Man, how many times you have tried to plan and you're never able to plan what you're going to say. You go there and say whatever you have to say anyway. So you all plans, then you stop that. But it was stop thinking about Bhagavad Gita. Then 1.5 hours at the university, Bhagavad Gita. I went back and I just saw the verses that I have to take today. Again the satsang was going on. Then I am here now from morning till, and 1.5 hour meditation with Dhyan. So from morning 8 o'clock till now, I haven't had time for gossip. Even after the lecture was over at the ashram, at the university, then what were the topic? Same topic. Swamiji, what is this? Oh, we forget the great. It was all about satsang. I guarantee this. Any time you talk to me, initially it will begin with about the world, how the world is good, how the world is bad. After 5 minutes, it will turn into satsang. It automatically happens. What can I do? So, mama katha prasanga. The Lord says, the Lord is, Tulsidas ji is saying, or the Lord is saying, Lord Ramchandra ji is saying to Shabri. The second is listening to the stories of mine. And you see, if you read Bhagavad, some of you must have read the Bhagavad. What is Bhagavad? Mahapuran, it's the story of the Lord. What happens there? Parikshit, who is the grandson of Arjuna, he has been cursed by a boy that you will die in 7 days. The snake will come and poison you. Now that Parikshit, who was a very, very wise king, monarch of the whole planet, loved by all the people, a very just ruler, and he has been cursed for whatever reasons, he does not say, oh, please tell me how should I live my last 7 days of my life. Please tell me. He came to the banks of the Ganges, and when he came there, already 10,000 saints and sages are already sitting, because they are, being saints and sages, they know what is going to happen in the future. They know that a great event is going to take place for the next 7 days. And he is surprised. He thought, okay, they must have also come. Maybe one of them will get up and tell the story and tell me what 7 days, what I have to do, last 7 days of my life, what I have to do. And he sits down, waiting. Time passes. The feeling doesn't come. Oh, my time is going away. Will someone come? No, he is totally calm, cool, collected. All the Mahatmas are also calm, cool and collected. The seat on which the teacher is going to come and sit, it's still empty. All the saints and sages who are sitting around him, each one greater than the other, none of them are ready to take the seat to tell Parikshit what he should do or how he should live his last 7 days of his life. Because all of them are waiting for that one special teacher to come and tell. And that special teacher is the 16-year-old Shukdevji Maharaj. And that young boy, from the time of birth, he has not spoken one single word. And he comes, he's roaming around naked, comes from the jungle, finds the seat, he sits down there. And all these 10,000 people are sitting in front of him. And first time he starts, opens his mouth. What is the word that comes out of his mouth? Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. A praise to the Lord. Satchidananda Rupaya. Who is that Lord? Who is that divine? The infinite, the Satchidananda Swarup. And what is he? He is the one who removes all the anomalies within our system, in our mind. All the sins in our mind are removed by him. Tapatra Vinashaya Shri Krishna. And who is he? Shri Krishnaya Sharanam. He is Lord Shri Krishna and my prostrations to him. These are the first words uttered by this young boy. And he starts. Right in front of him, Parikshit Maharaj is sitting. Only 16 years. That was his moment in life. Parikshit Maharaj doesn't even know who he is, or maybe knows, but he doesn't know that he is going to come. You make yourself ready. Teacher appears in your life. A Mahatma appears in your life. Don't go guru shopping. Don't go saint shopping that he is my teacher, he is my teacher. No, it happens. And here, last 7 days of your life. What is last 7 days of your life? In other words, we are also, if you come to recognize that you are on the last day of your life, you come from Monday, 7 days in a week, you start from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, anyway you start, Monday to Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, 7th day only. So is this your first day or the last day of life? You don't know. So be ready, be alert, surrender. Until the mind has not become single pointed, it has not removed, you want to make it conducive to the divine thought, the best way, here it is told, Mama Katha Prasanga, listen to my stories. And what did Parikshit Maharaj do? He only listened to the story of the Lord and his incarnations and in detail the story of Lord Krishna and his Leelas over the 7 days. That's all he did. He did not, in that narration by this young boy, the various sadhanas were given, meditations were given, everything. He only listened. He did not do yoga, he did not do contemplation, he did not do japa, he did not do anything. All he did was alertly listened, and on the 7th day, when the snake came to bite the body of Parikshit, it bit the dead body. The Parikshit, the soul, the spirit, had realized itself. Because if the spirit had not realized, then there will be fear, then there will be pain, there will be anxiety of the impending moment. But here Parikshit, merely by listening to the story of the Lord, was able to be established in himself. Why? His heart and mind had become Krishnamaya. Just like the gopis. So what did the snake come and bite? Just matter, not the person. Person was not available because the person's mind had merged into the divine. Merely by listening, Mama Katha Prasanga, merely by listening to the stories. So what should be our gossip? How Krishna was, how Ramchandraji was. Our gossip is how our grandchildren are. Let it be the God's Leelas. Huh? And how do you listen to these stories, or don't imagine that Ramchandraji was in the Treta Yuga and Krishna was in the Dwapar Yuga 5,000 years ago, Ramchandraji was 10,000 years ago. Ah, my God, that's irrelevant in today's time. It is more relevant than ever. But how do you make it relevant? Time is only a figment of imagination. It's not a reality. It's a relative reality. But how do you go beyond the time? You listen to the stories, and when you are having free time, sitting in the sun, basking in the sun, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour, sit there and remember Lord Krishna or Lord Ram, see their birth taking place, take any part of the story, imagine it in detail, that the sun was at its peak, the flowers were in bloom, a beautiful, gentle, fragrant breeze was blowing throughout the kingdom of Ayodhya. At that time, Kausalya is lying in her bed, ready to give birth to Lord Shri Ram. Dashrath and Vashishta Maharaj, the Guru, they are outside the door waiting. And as you start imagining the story, your mind suddenly transforms. Mind transforms. It's the simplest way. No studies of scriptures is required. Merely listening to the stories. And the more you start, how joyfully, excitedly, my mother even today tells my childhood stories. Your mother must have done the same. And you cringe. Enough, I'm grown up now. And sometimes when she does, I say, hey, don't tell my past to others. But for her, if a young girl of 20, 25 years old comes and tells to my mum that, this small child, he's like this, he does this nutcut, pranks. Instead of praising that young fellow, she remembers how I used to be when I was young. Arey yaar. See? So can we replace all this with remembering the Krishna Bhagavan? A mother does. See, he is doing like Krishna. See, he is doing like Ram. See, and every mother has dressed their children as Krishna or Ram, isn't it? So when we keep thinking, contemplating, remembering, imagining, fantasizing the stories of the Lord in our mind in detail, slowly, your mind is getting God focused. Initially, straight away to think about God may be difficult for some. So you need bhajan, you need kirtan, you need a group meditation, you need group activity in order to become God oriented. Now you sing for 1.5 hours, go home and sing bhajan, you will not be able to do it. But when you are in a group, you are able to do it, isn't it? You sit for meditation. There are people who have told me, Swamiji, when you are there for 1.5 hours, I sit, I don't realize. But at home, half an hour also is difficult by myself. Why? Company. So now your mind has the company to think about the Lord only, it may be difficult for the mind. But when it is in the context of the whole story with other different characters, it becomes easy for the mind to maintain the theme, the divine theme. And slowly, as you get intoxicated, enjoying, feeling the bliss of the story of the Lord, as if it is really taking place. There are people who do not read or study or chant the Ayodhya Kand. You know why? Ayodhya Kand is one of the chapters in Tulsi Ramayana. Why? Because in Ayodhya Kand, Ramchandraji was banished for 14 years into the forest in exile. And it gives them so much pain. It gives them so much pain that they are unable to read that chapter. That how can my Lord be banished in exile, sent to exile and made to suffer in the forest? You ask the Lord, He says, fantastic, I want to get away from the kingdom and the responsibilities. But the devotee doesn't feel that way. Some people, they think about Lord Krishna, they listen to the stories, and after the birth of Krishna, they are not able to go further. I have met one person. He is a fantastic speaker, but he is never able to go beyond the birth of Krishna. He has started Bhagavatam so many times in his life, but he is not able to go beyond the birth. Because once it comes to the birth of the Lord Krishna, he says, there is nothing else to talk about. Krishna is everything. Why do I want to know his leelas? Why do I want to know his pranks? Why do I want to know what he did and what he didn't do? For me, Krishna is enough. He has come, he has taken birth, he is filling my heart. That's it. So that much, the word is atmiyata. You feel so connected with the divine theme within your mind that you think that it is absolutely real. You go to Vrindavan, those people, some of the people when you are walking, they are walking as if Krishna and Radha are there in front of them. They talk like that, even walking in the streets. See? So, mama katha prasanga, dusari bhagati mama katha prasanga. So, to revel in the stories of the Lord is the best theme that we can give our mind, and in this way, when we have gone to satsang, when we go to the satsang, we listen to various philosophies, we listen to the what do you call, the logic, we listen to what the scriptures are saying. But when we see the story of the Lord, we see those principles which are talked about in the satsang being practiced by the Lord. If you go to take any event of Lord's life, you will see it, him acting it out, and it becomes more real to you. And in this way, when we are, is it living in a hypnotic state? No. Is it living in a fantasy world? No. Lord is not a fantasy. Divinity is not a fantasy of your mind. Krishna and Rama are not fantasies. They are God, the divinity himself incarnating on this planet. So instead of having the theme of the world, we are having the theme of the divine. We talk about the cinemas, we talk about the Salamanca market, we talk about the beautiful sunrise and the sunset. Instead of all these topics, we have replaced it with the stories of the Lord, the leelas of the Lord. And as a result, our mind becomes divinized. Slowly. It has not become completely divinized, but slowly. And as a result of that, the sorrow which seems to precipitate within our mind as a result of interaction with the world. Today your daughter has come, you are happy. Sunday evening she will leave. Oh, I wish you could stay for one more week. Daughter is a source of joy. But that daughter gave you joy, but she will also give you sorrow. This talk that is taking place, it is a source of joy at this moment, but if stretched more than required, it will become a source of sorrow. Everything in this world will give you joy temporarily, but will give you sorrow also. But then what is that with which I can interact, which will give me continuous joy? Is the stories of the Lord. Because no theme of this world will ever give you continuous bliss from within. It's the stories of the Lord. Mama katha prasanga. And in this way, we reform our mind slowly, not forcefully, but in small doses, till it becomes natural for the mind to continue thinking of its own accord, not because, and there is no compulsion. Nobody has asked you to come here. Nobody has asked you to believe everything that is being told. You have to take it and experiment with it in your life and see if it works for you. If it doesn't work, discard it. Don't worry about it. Maybe it's not for you. If someone tells me, Swamiji, let's do this, that, let's do a long puja. I am not a puja type of person, ritualistic person. I am not. I'll do it as long as it is short. 2, 3, 4 hours long puja, I cannot sit. So I say, you start, I'll come. But you tell me, sit in meditation, anytime I'm ready. You tell me to talk about the truth, anytime I'm ready. You tell me to talk about the Lord, anytime, even in sleep I can speak. But if you ask me to do if you ask me to travel, to go and see different places, with the temples, and I enjoy all that. So each one has his own disposition. See? So we are not saying that you have to force yourself. Don't force yourself. Interact with the information intelligently. Take what clicks and apply it in your life. Okay, Swamiji has said this, Tulsidas ji has said this, Lord Ram has told Shibori, then there must be some truth in it. Let me start practicing it in my life. Take one event of the Lord's life, start imagining in detail. You may not know the detail, so read it first, and then close your eyes, and then start imagining. And see the quality of your mind after that, or while that is taking place. And see the quality of the mind when you are not doing that, and come to your own conclusion. Nobody is saying you have to do this, that this is the only way. No. And find out. You have to be a scientist of life. Then only spiritual unfoldment happens. And scientist means who is ready to experiment from all different angles about something that he is convinced, or he hears, or as he is exploring. He may not know the answer, but he is ready to explore, to find out what the answer is. And this is one of them. So, here he says that where are we? Dusari rati mama katha prasanga. Then coming to the next one, he says, and as a result, what will happen? Your attraction towards the world will reduce, and your attraction to the stories of the Lord and eventually the Lord, it will increase. See, what is the sequence, how your mind transforms? First, it comes to satsang. It listens to the stories of the Lord. Then you go home, you imagine the stories of the Lord. Slowly, as your mind revels in the stories of the Lord, after some time, the story is not about the events that are taking place in the story, but the story is about the Lord Himself. And your focus becomes the Lord. And the mind starts thinking, I don't want this extra data, I want only the Lord. Then you come to the Lord. And then you stop thinking about the stories because your mind is focused on the divine. And then the divine is complete. What is He? He is having whatever for Christians it will be the Jesus, for us it will be Krishna or Rama or Devi or Ganesha or Shiva, whoever. And you start thinking about it, and now from the stories you have come to the one around whom the story was revolving, that is the Lord Himself. And then you become so attracted, so intoxicated by the grace of the Lord, that without you thinking, the image of the Lord is ever there in front of you, like the gopis. And slowly, 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 the feeling comes that this is not enough. I want to become one with the Lord. How do I become one with the Lord? As long as I am seeing the form of the Lord, I am still separate to Him. Because I am the seer, He is the seen. How do I become one with Him? Then Bhagavatam, this is one of the meditations in Bhagavatam, there it comes. Either you think of His 2 feet, or you think of His 2 lips, or you think of His 2 eyes, and you contemplate, you think about them, you keep them in your mind. And when you come to the 2 eyes, or you come to the 2 lips, that's where Adharam Madhuram, Madhuradipate Akhilam Madhuram. So, you start thinking about the lips. Suppose we take the lips of the Lord, you contemplate, and you are now, rest of the body has vanished from your mind, only His lips are left. But there also is division. What is the division? Upper lip and lower lip. And you want to merge in Him, even that too is keeping you away from Him. So you go where the upper lip and the lower lip meet, or the point between the 2 eyes, or the space between the 2 feet, and you contemplate on that. And suddenly the difference, the distance between you and the Lord vanishes. You become one with the Lord. And suddenly from the God with form, you have come to realize the formless God. As He is, not as your mind was imagining, but as He is. And this whole journey begins from satsang. Next step, the stories of the Lord, the leelas of the Lord. Then comes the next one, Gurupada Pankaja Seva, Tisari Bhagati Amana, Chauthi Bhagati Mama Guna Gana, Karai Kapatat Jigana Siyava Ramachandra Ki Jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai, Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai, Bolo Bhai Sab Santan Ki Jai. Gurupad Pankaj Seva Tisari Bhagati Amana. Gurupad Pankaj Seva. That we must not become too familiar to the teacher. Because what is the rule? Familiarity breeds, what is the statement? Contempt. When we become too familiar, then we start taking the teacher or the guru to be for granted. And where you have taken it for granted, then you will be very liberal, then you will not be alert. When I go with my teacher, you see how alert I am all the time. He has come here also. I am very alert. Why? In that, it's not that he requires alertness. But as a student, as a disciple, as a devotee, as a learner, as a seeker, it is in my benefit that I remain alert and vigilant. There is a statement, a verse in Upanishads. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitam Stuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There the statement says, Om Sahana Vavatu, let the teacher and the student come together. For what? For studies. Sahanau Bhunaktu, let us enjoy the teaching together. Sahaviryam Karavavai, let us both put efforts in plenty. The teacher puts efforts to make the student understand, and the teacher puts efforts for learning in the right mode, in the right frame of mind, what is being taught. Otherwise, how do we go? We already have a cluttered mind with all the books that we have read, and we go to the teacher to study. Acha, he said this, but Swamiji, that book said this way, now please explain to me. Go and ask that book. Why you are asking me? I have not read that book. So do not compare the teacher or the guru with anyone else. Take their words. If your heart is very clear, you will not get caught up in personality. You are not, guru does not mean that mere a person coming in front. It is the teaching that is the guru. The true guru is within your heart. Are you holding on to the feet of the guru? Are you holding on to the feet of the Krishna who is in your heart? Guru Pada Pankaja Seva. Are you seeing the teacher as a manifestation of the divine who has come into your life? See? Do you see that? But if you see the teacher as a human being, knowledge will not be transferred. So it is in our benefit that when I look at my teacher, I look at him as a saint, as a Mahatma, as an expression of the divine who is able to clear merely by his presence. And how will that knowledge, see, I'll give you one example of interaction with teacher. Myself and my teacher, we were walking on a hill in Coffs Harbour. And every year we go there, and there's this Mutton Bird Island, and we climb that, and like a small child, he is walking and I'm walking behind on his steps. And suddenly he stopped, and I dashed into him. And he says, "What are you thinking?" And I was thinking about something. I said, "No, Swamiji, it's okay." "No, tell me, I want to know what you are thinking." Now, how does he know that what I am thinking? But I can't say lies in front of him because he knows me better than I know myself. So I said, "Swamiji, I was thinking that as much as I have studied with you and everything, but I can't remember anything from the scriptures. I can't remember any verse. I can't quote so freely the way you quote the scriptures. What do I have to do that?" This is many, many years ago. He said, he looked at me, and he walked away. He started walking. I said, maybe he didn't enjoy, maybe I am trying to compare myself to him, I want to be like him, so maybe he didn't like that. And I have to be alert that was that a right question to ask or not. But that was, he asked me, so I told him. But the quality of question also you have to determine, is it good or unnecessary. He did not answer the whole day. Evening passed by, lectures happened. Next morning we were walking on the beach. And we were walking in the water, our lungi is up. And suddenly he came and put his hand on my shoulder. "Yeah, Arey Mahatma ji." I said, "Yes, Swamiji." "Hey, I was thinking, when will that day come, that my mind will become like Paramananda's?" I said, "Like what? Why? I can't remember anything. Why you want to be why your mind?" "I'm thinking in my mind. I'm not saying anything. I dare not." So he says, "Even in my dream I'm giving lectures. Even in my dream the scriptures are going on in my mind. I don't dream anything about world, but the scriptures. So I was thinking when I got up, the first thought that came in my mind was, when will that day come when my mind will be naturally empty like Swami Paramananda's?" That even if he tries, no verse comes. I am waiting for this mind to become empty. He is great. But to teach me a lesson, that we always see the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. What I don't have, what other person has, I want that. But I am not happy with what I have and make it into a foundation. So my question was, when will my mind be able to remember all the scriptures? Is my journey or my confusion, and his journey is, when will his mind become empty like me? She says, let's make a pact. See? Who can tell you this? Who can tell you this? One who wants you to be true to yourself, isn't it? He could have twisted the whole thing and said, oh, you should study, you should buy hard, you should do this. There are teachers who tell all this. But he did not allow my mind to get stuck. He made me comfortable with myself as I am. Isn't it? He did not ask me to compare himself to him. See, that is a teacher. Who is a teacher? Who is a guru? Who makes you free. Who is a guru or a teacher? Who brings you closer to God, so that you recognize that the God was already present within your heart. That is the role of a guru. The teacher is always presenting you that only, because that is his natural disposition. But the message to seep through will depend upon the attitude of the student, the attitude of the devotee, attitude of the seeker. If the seeker is surrendered to the teacher, if the teacher, student or the seeker or the devotee is surrendered to the guru, then he will understand from what angle the teacher is speaking. When the student, because I interact so much with my teacher, the teacher knows, my guru knows what shortcomings are there in my progress. And because I am available to him, he is ready to correct me. But if I start arguing with him, he will stop there and then he will change the topic. But over a period of time, because of my interaction with him, because of my faith in him, because of my surrender to him, he is able to know what I am all about, isn't it? Only if through interaction it will happen. But if I go there guarded to him, I don't know, he will take me for a ride, and I keep a distance from him, then he is not able to, then he may be there plentifully available to you, but it will not be of any benefit. Then it's a good social talk that, Swamiji came, he stayed with us, he ate with us, we went out for a coffee, and that's all there is. And there are many people like that. But to get true benefit, you have to have faith in the divine. That every person that is coming in your life is an expression of that divine. When you do have that type of feeling with one guru, then slowly your mind expands. It starts seeing every person, every interaction, every experience as an expression of the guru. Because you are learning from it. See, this is the technology. Not only that the teacher is able to assess or spontaneously come to know what shortcomings or what future guidance to give to the student, and that will only depend upon the faith and surrender of the student to the guru, but also by spending more time with the Guru Maharaj, the student is able to see from what angle. See, nowadays when I spend time with Swamiji, I don't see. My goal is, what is that space from where he is functioning? He's got nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Yet he is more busy than any CEO in this world. Traveling around the whole world, giving lectures on a daily basis, sometimes 2 lectures in a day. See? And when I spend time with him, I anticipate what he's thinking. I anticipate before he says begins a sentence, I have already completed the sentence. Before he thinks, I am sitting there. He just looks at me and I know what he wants. I am not saying all the time it happens. A lot of time it happens. That I am able, what is that? You have become in tune with the teacher. You start thinking like the teacher. You start having that disposition like the teacher. Just like yesterday I told you, those who become the devotees of Shiva, they start having the qualities of Lord Shiva. Those who become like Ganesha or Rama or Krishna, they start having those qualities, start expressing through them. See? So we are not saying that you have to be subservient of the teacher. No. That I am not a doormat for the teacher. No. No, it is out of devotion and surrender. Because Guru is the one who is able to tell you what the scriptures are talking about. He is the bridge who is able to take you to yourself. He is the bridge which makes you recognize the divinity within yourself. The divinity is already there, but are you recognizing it? Are you being it? Have you done that by reading books? If it was possible by reading the books, then Guru is not required, the teacher is not required. But to put it in a fashion, in a manner by which you can understand, that is the role of the Guru. And as the student and the teacher become in tune with each other, he is able to correct him, and he knows that if I correct him, if I get angry with him, and his anger is not anger because he wants to be angry, it's only for your betterment. Swami Chinmayananda, he went to Swami Tapovan Maharaj, and after 9 years of study with him, one day Tapovan Maharaj in the Uttar Kashi, in the Himalayas, he said in the class, and that time few students, only 4 students were there and few other people were there, and he announced that today this Chinmaya, he took my clothes to wash and he brought it with holes. And the clothes were already having holes in them. But Chinmayananji used to wash them because he was old, he was doing the seva, but he kept rubbing it in. Now he's taking last bit of clothes I have, that also he has torn, and this, and out of 2, 3, 4 days he kept telling in every class all that. Only thing was how Chinmaya tore his clothes and he's taking away his clothes away. And no argument. Nahi Swamiji, I did not. Telling lies. You think I am telling lies or what? And he got disgusted. He went and bought 2 pairs of clothes and gave fresh ones. He says, see, he accepts that he tore my clothes. Now he is giving me new ones. I don't want these new ones. Because even after 3-4 days, Chinmaya did not say that I tore the clothes. Because in him, the belief and the conviction was, and that is that he did not tear it. And after 4 or 5 days of continuous bombarding like this, insulting the student in front of all the people, the whole town came to know that Chinmaya has done this. Chinmayananji one more 5th day or 6th day in the morning, packed his whatever clothes and books he had and walked away from the teacher. He walked 6 kilometers away. Then Tapovan Maharaj sent another student. He said, go and call Chinmaya. He must not be very far. So he went running, called Chinmaya. Hey, Tapovan Maharaj has called you. Guru Maharaj has called you. Without any second thought, he came back. And when he came back, he just looked at him. Tapovan Maharaj just looked at him. You tore the clothes. He fell at his feet. Yes, I tore the clothes. That time, that moment, that young seeker became a master. See? You have to go through that process of cleansing. You see? It is not just like that. Teacher never wants anything bad for you. He only wants to remove that little bit dirt which is still left of arrogance, of ego, of individuality. He wants to remove that. For that he has to create situations. But are you ready to take that treatment? And he will not do it to everyone. He will only do that, give that treatment to those who are available. Not to everyone. Guru Pada Pankaja Seva. Serve the lotus feet of the Guru Maharaj or the teacher. There unfoldment is possible. There where you are going wrong, what is required by you will click. Just in a mere conversation with a teacher, just like with my teacher, suddenly things just blossomed. See? Otherwise it was such a big issue in my life for so many years that I couldn't remember anything. See? Guru Pada Pankaj Seva Tisari Bhagati Aman. Man means pride. Man means arrogance. Man means ego. I am something. Don't you know whom you are dealing with? Students have their own ego, you know. I am the best student. But when a means no. So no arrogance, no pride. You are nothing. You become nothing in the presence of the teacher. See? Then knowledge transfer. Then one word the teacher speaks. No processing required when that intunement is there. No processing required. Immediately it clicks. Because the tension in the mind of surrender, of alertness, of devotion towards the teacher is so at such a tension that everything, the music starts flowing out of you. Like a guitar, it has to be in the right tension for music to come out. You are so alert in the presence of the teacher that automatically knowledge starts taking place without having even tried to gain knowledge. Without having tried to gain knowledge. How can that, yesterday I gave the story of Nisargadatta Maharaj. How can that Nisargadatta Maharaj, 8th pass, a cigarette shop owner, a shack, goes to one satsang, listens to you are that, comes and locks himself up in one room, and in 2 years he is talking more profound than what the scriptures are talking. Only from the absolute standpoint he talks. He does not come down. He says, that's not available in my shop. Go to other places. And if you are not able to answer his question or be in tune with him, he says, don't occupy this space. Get out from here. Let other people. Because in a small room he used to give lectures. Not lectures, question answers. How did it unfold? It unfolded from within. Knowledge is within, not outside. But if that teacher had not told him how to contemplate, how to think, would it have happened? Only once he asked, and we go guru shopping everywhere, read this book, read that book, interact with this master, with that teacher, maybe this will click, maybe. Because you are not ready to surrender. You are not ready to be a nobody in front of a teacher. Therefore knowledge is not unfolding within. Ego is crystallization, individuality is crystallization of consciousness. It becomes a ice cube, which is uncomfortable in anywhere. And when we go without any arrogance in front of the teacher, that ice cube personality, that frozen personality, crystallized personality, it starts melting. And where that melting becomes, you become one with the divine, you will also not recognize. because you are always the divine essentially anyway. Then Chauthi bhagati mama guna gana karai kapat taji gana. So in the fourth Gurupada Pankaja Seva Tisari Bhagati Aman Chauthi Bhagati Mama Gunagana Karai Kapata Tajigan. Then such a person, he enjoys Chauthi the Mama Gunagana Bhagati Mama Gunagana. So such a person, he does not shy from talking about the divine theme anywhere. Even if he goes to a pub, he will tell, hey, you know what reality is? If you put me in a pub, what will be my topic of the discussion? Alcohol. I will convert that liquid spiritual into a real spirituality. See? The topic will be still spiritual. Huh? So a person who has, what was the first step? Who has gone to satsang. Second step or second way was listening to the stories of the Lord and becoming focused on the divinity, the divine principle. Third, becoming surrendered, becoming a nobody in front of that person or that teacher who is showing the way, showing the path, how to become one with that reality. Then once this thing starts taking place, this connection starts taking place with the teacher, who is not other than the divinity, then such a person wants to share this information with everyone. He can't stop himself. Anywhere he goes, hey, you know the story of Bhagavad Gita? Oh, you know the story of Krishna? Oh, you know what that Krishna did? You know what we studied today? You know what I read today? You know what? I was seeing this serial and this came out. You know this, you know that. And continuously the theme is, whether it is of Jesus, whether it is of Krishna, whether it is of Rama, whether it is of any scriptural text that you have studied, it does not matter. But the theme is, you cannot stop but propagate. You're not propagating to convert people, but any company you find, that becomes your theme, that becomes your topic of discussion. And if that is not the topic of discussion and the reciprocation is not there, it does not matter. Without having any judgment on that person, don't be judgmental. You will go and find another person who is ready to listen. And you will keep sharing, because the more you talk about it, if you talk to me about, Swami, you know about Krishna Lila, this happened, that happened, and suddenly I tell you, no, you are telling me something wrong. And suddenly your correction in your thought process, in your understanding of the story of the Lord, you correct yourself. If someone is excited, Swamiji, I was meditating and this happened and that happened, and you tell me, and suddenly, if it is correct, I have got nothing to say. But if I see there is a problem there, I will correct it. And that is how we are able to. And who is the first person? Sometimes out of excitement, you speak about these themes or these topics, but suddenly you realize, oh, I told the wrong story. I told the story of Rama taking Krishna as the central theme. And something wrong. And you correct yourself. And you correct yourself. And you correct yourself. And you correct yourself. So now nobody else is required to correct you, but you become your own teacher. You start correcting yourself. How? Maybe by going back to the text, by going again to the teacher and asking those questions. But now the fuse is on from inside. Nothing can stop you from not talking about the divine theme. Day in and day out. Any free time you are thinking about it. It's not that you are not doing your work. You are doing. But thinking about divinity or being the divinity has got nothing to do with how you work out there in the world. Working out there in the world happens because you have already programmed yourself for enough years. and it will work itself out. But while that working is taking place, where is your attention? Is it on the work or is it on the divine theme? This shift takes place within. And then, Chauthi bhagati mama guna gana karai tap kapatata jigan, and all hypocrisy goes out of you slowly. A lot of people, what is hypocrisy here? People study some book, like one person I know somewhere, they have studied, they have read, they know Sanskrit very well, they have studied Bhagavad Gita, but they don't believe that Krishna is real. They believe, oh, he was just a person and he was not incarnation of the Lord. He was just some great person. That's it. That's their belief. This is hypocrisy. That means they have interacted with the information, but there is no devotion. See? Only at the head level, but not at the heart level. Lot of people, yesterday I told you, all the priests who are in the temple, they are chanting away the God's name. So mentally they have by-hearted the names, they are at a great speed, they are able to take 1,000 names of the Lord, but there is no devotion. If devotion was there, that individuality would have vanished. They have got such a wonderful opportunity to dissolve themselves and merge into the Lord. But what have they made that opportunity to? A profession. See? Isn't it? They have made it into profession. And there is one person in Melbourne, I know, he says, I can do puja, but and the Lord has entered into his heart as a result of so many years of puja at the temple. So we go to various satsangs, we read various books, we collect information, but without making that information our own, it becomes a party topic. It has not become our own. If it has become our own, then it is good. Then you will correct yourself. But you, at the drop of a hat, you are ready to quote one verse from this Bhagavad Gita, one verse from this scripture, and hey, this person knows so much about the scriptures, they can speak Sanskrit also, oh my God, they can talk about it also. And you can gain a lot of, respect among the fools, no doubt. But you know inside where you stand. Everyone knows where they stand inside. That you are a hypocrite of the highest order. So here the Lord is telling her, Chauti bhagati mama gunagana kapatata jigan. When a person is singing the glory, sharing the glory of that divine theme, in such a person's mind, hypocrisy cannot be there. Cannot be there. If he is saying it out of love and devotion. See? And in this way, that's why we say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. That Guru himself is the creator, himself is the maintainer, himself is the destroyer, himself has come in the form of our teacher and is also the immediate teacher who is none other than the self within us. Recognize the teacher principle in that manner, you will be benefited. But the attitude of interaction has to be correct. It should not be only on the surface. You have to dive deep within yourself. And Bhaj Govindam also says, Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha. Shankaracharya ji in the Bhaj Govindam says that the person who has given up all responsibility of his life at the feet of the teacher alone can benefit. See? alone can benefit. If you say, I am responsible, ego is strong. But if जैसे रखी राखे राम तैसी विधि रही है, you surrender yourself to the Lord, and whichever way, in whichever manner the Lord takes care of you, you are happy with it. See? Even in Shirdi Pothi, there are many incidences where the people have come to the teacher. One lady, she cooks the Shirdi Sai Baba tells that lady, hey Lakshmi, I am hungry, bring me some food quickly and make it fresh. She goes, spends 2 hours, makes puri, bhaji, pulao, this, that, everything, puts it on a nice plate, gives it, brings it to the Shirdi Sai Baba. And at that moment there is a dog who has been sitting in front of him. And this dog also looks at the food, Shirdi Sai Baba looks at the food, the saliva is falling down from both sides of him. The Shirdi Baba takes that food which was so lovingly made by that lady for him and puts the plate in front of the mouth of the dog. We are talking about learning here. And that lady became firebrand. Baba, I did spend 2 hours. If you had told me it was for the dog, I would have brought some yesterday's chapatis and given it to him and put some rice. You made me cook fresh food for the dog. I brought it for you. Why did you give it to him? He just smiled. He says, what does he say? That is there a difference between the dog and me? The hunger of the dog is my hunger alone. Who can say this? A mother can say. The hunger of a child is my hunger. She understands. She is ready to sacrifice her hunger in order to feed the hunger of the child. Man can never do that. Gone case. But that is still, she is sacrificing her hunger for the hunger of the dog. But here, Shirdi Sai Baba, when he gives sacrifices his food for the dog, and the dog feels contented, at the same time Shirdi Sai Baba also feels contented. He doesn't remain hungry. This is the difference. So when the dog feels full, the Shirdi Sai Baba here feels full. See? Why? He is one with the total creation. That's why. Now, who can teach you? And then that lady who was all that firebrand suddenly fell at the feet. Baba, I'm sorry, I behaved like this. I don't understand sometimes what you speak, you know. Because she can never understand without being one with the total creation. And there are teachers to invoke that divinity within you, which invoke that which is inherent within you. They employ different ways, but for that you have to be available to the teacher. You have to be available to the Lord. You have to recognize that there is no difference between the Lord and the teacher, or the teacher and the Guru Maharaj, or the Guru Maharaj and Guru Maharaj and the Lord. Once you see this connection, then you will see that the whole world is nothing but the Guru principle. The Guru is inside, the Guru is outside. For that you have to surrender somewhere. Otherwise, how long we are going to carry the ego and remain separated from the totality? That is our essential nature. With this we conclude today's lecture, and the last 4 or 5, whatever is left, we'll see it tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Tomorrow again it will be at 4 o'clock to 5:30. Maybe longer if required.